huge wave of refugees, even Brexit. What a dumb mistake that was for the United Kingdom to make, in my opinion. But one of the two most powerful advertisements was the billboard put up by the Leave campaign that showed an endless line of refugees from the Middle East and North Africa at the borders of Europe, and they say, we don't want them here. Keep them out. Let's leave the European Union. I could go on in describing the political disruption that is in prospect if we don't get a handle on this climate crisis. The same extra heat is melting the ice and raising sea level. We're seeing both Greenland and Antarctica melt at an accelerated rate. In Miami, Florida, I walked in the streets sloshing through water on a sunny day, no rainfall in sight, hadn't been any, but it was high tide. And there are many cities around the world, a lot of them in South Asia, a lot of them in North America, some in Europe. Tropical diseases moving northward. These storms, like the hurricanes and cyclones and typhoons, get stronger. Anyway, all of those and other consequences tell us the answer to that first question, do we have to change, is yes, we have to change. What are you thinking? Of course we have to change. We cannot condemn the next generation to lives of degradation and despair. So, let me lift you back up. That's a depressing list of consequences, and there are more that I've left out. But the second question is, can we change? And there the answer is an incredibly positive and resounding yes. Look at what's happened in the world of technology. Just look at energy, for example. We have seen the same kinds of cost reduction curves, cost down curves that astonished the world in previous decades with computer chips and flat screen TVs and mobile phones. That's happening with solar energy. That's happening with wind energy. It's happening with battery storage of energy. It's happening with electric vehicles. It's happening with efficiency improvements that are too numerous to mention. In fact, here's what I believe, and the evidence, I believe, bears this out. Our world is now in the early stages of a sustainability revolution that has the magnitude of the Industrial Revolution, but the speed of the digital revolution. And it's empowered by the digital tools, including the Internet of Things and machine learning and progressively better forms of artificial intelligence. And a lot of these new tools and technologies are being developed by men and women right here in this auditorium today. Thank you for what you're doing. You are already making a huge difference. What we are seeing in this sustainability revolution is the emergence of a new ability given to CEOs and executive teams in enterprises all around the world to manipulate and deal with atoms and molecules with the same precision and dexterity that has been demonstrated by the internet and computer network companies in dealing with digits of information. We are seeing unnecessary waste eliminated. We're seeing new business models. We're seeing the use of data to figure out what needs to be done, focus on that, get rid of the unnecessary encumbrances and waste, and just get the job done. This is beginning to reduce emissions. And where the generation of electricity is concerned, solar photovoltaic electricity has been coming down so fast in cost that in many areas of the world it is now significantly cheaper than any kind of electricity that can be produced from fossil fuels, burning coal or gas or diesel or oil. Last month in the Middle East, they had 13 bids for new electricity generation. Winning bid 1.7 cents per kilowatt hour, and if you don't happen to speak kilowatt hour, that's less than 1/3 the cost of electricity from burning coal. Of those 13 bids, 12 of the 13 beat the previous all-time low price record for electricity from solar, a record that had just been set 6 months earlier. So technology is helping us to displace fossil fuels and generate electricity from clean, renewable sources. We can match that up with the new levels of efficiency in business, industry, homes, every part of our civilization. And we can match it up with the transportation system by shifting over to electric vehicles as quickly as we possibly can. Electric cars, electric trucks, electric buses, electric scooters. Now I want to put on my investor hat for a moment and tell you that there are an increasing number of investors who come to gatherings like this one and smaller ones. I don't think there is one bigger than this, but to meet with young entrepreneurs and business teams that are using their knowledge and skills in technology to advance this process forward. I'm the co-founder and chairman of Generation Investment Management. We've invested in an electric bus called Proterra. Amazing, 1,100 miles on a single charge. We invested in an electric scooter out of Taiwan called Gore. Unbelievable, changed the batteries out in 6 seconds. We've invested in a company called M-Copa in East Africa that is spreading solar energy all over that region. They have competitors that are also doing a great job. And you know, by the way, in the developing countries of the world, they do not have elaborate landline electricity grids, so a lot of them don't have electricity now. In India, there are as many people with no electricity at all as the entire population of the United States of America. And they're not going to get it with these grids taking electricity from coal-burning plants, but they're going to get it from solar. They're going to get it from rooftop solar and village solar and utility scale solar and from wind. And it's getting cheaper all the time. India has just announced they're closing a whole lot of coal mines, shutting down the new coal fire generating plants and shifting massively to solar. And it creates jobs. In my country, solar jobs are now growing 17 times faster than all other jobs in the United States of America. It's the #1 fastest growing occupation. The #2 fastest growing occupation is wind turbine technician. The global economy, what do we need? Well, we need reforms to capitalism, as I said, but we also need to address what the economists call a weakness in secular demand. We need a global project to put tens of millions of people to work. Well, you know what? We've got a global project to solve the climate crisis, to address the emissions that are destroying our future at present and put people to work on solar and wind and batteries and electric cars and sustainable agriculture and sustainable forestry and efficiency improvements. So I want you to know that there is a growing market for the kinds of initiatives that many of you have labored long and hard to bring to fruition. There is a growing interest on the part of investors who care not just about making a quick buck in a short period of time, but investing in businesses that are helping to create a bright and prosperous and sustainable future. Every one of these social revolutions, like the climate movement, like the sustainability movement, has been led ultimately by young people. And I look out at this audience and I know who you are. Most of you are extremely young. Most of you are determined to be a part of building a bright future. Making good money, yes, but in the process, helping to make the world a better place. That's what we all should be about. So, can we solve this climate crisis? Yes. We have the tools that we need. They are available. Now there's opposition in the political systems of this world. The fossil fuel companies have built up over the last century a lot of monetary wealth and political power and a network of connections, and they're pulling out all the stops to try to paralyze this historic movement of the sustainability revolution. But you know, the people still ultimately have the most powerful voice. And those of you who are building exciting new businesses can have much more influence than practically anybody else. Generation